My name's Lawson Wallace. I'm a writer, blogger, and YouTube. I'm also a freelance writer. I specialize in resumes, cover letters, blog posts, emails. If you need help with your copy, um, get in touch. lawsonwallacewrites at gmail.com, and I'll work with you to help you get your copy in shape. Help if you just need another set of eyes, I'm here to help. Just reach out to me and let me know. Somebody asked about what my life was like when I was a kid, and I've asked various versions of that question, answered various versions of that question before, and I just saw something a minute ago online. It was talking about how kids that grew up in the 70s, 60s and 70s are different than the kids these days. And because we were more, studies have shown that my generation was more resilient, can get over things faster, can handle things better, certain things. Because we were allowed to think for ourselves. Literally, we'd be thrown out of the house in the mornings, told not to come back until the sun come down. As long as, my family, as long as if mom and dad stuck their head out the door and yelled for us, we had to come. We had to be hearing distance. But other than that, we were either that, or I was brought up to be a reader. It was cool. My parents didn't mind if I had my nose in a book or somewhere or something. And especially being in Japan, we didn't have a whole lot of English language TV in the early 70s. So I learned how to think for myself, learned how to make decisions, learned a little bit more independent, how to be independent. And you learn how to socialize and talk to people. Because we didn't have cell phones, we weren't staring at the stupid cell phone all the time. So it was just different, And I think it was better. Because we learned a little more how to be human, how to interact with other people. And being being a military brat, there were certain things you just couldn't do on a base, because it reflected on your parents and your dad mostly, and your dad can get in trouble, and his career get ruined for something you did. So, and it did happen. I knew people I knew personally it happened to their dads because of something their kids did. And so there was a little more accountability, a little more responsibility. We knew how far we could push it, and most of what we did on the down low. Kids these days, they just rub your nose in it, and they just want to provoke you. They just, and I don't understand the point of that. Why be obnoxious and call attention to yourself? It's a lot to be said for sneaking around, doing it on the down low, like I said. So it's just a different mind frame, different way of thinking. But we were not innocent. We weren't any better or any worse, I don't think. It was just different. And but you did grow up and be a little more stronger. I'm not so much, my generation, we're not so much concerned about having our feelings hurt, you know, being triggered. If you're triggered at all, if you're easily triggered or triggered at all, if words, hurt you and ruin your day, you're just weak. You're weak and pathetic. That's all that is. So, anyway, that's the difference between the 70s and the 2020s and 2000s. It's just, we're a lot tougher. We were a lot tougher. We were raised tougher. And we're more independent. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Have a good evening.